I'm going to read 4 books in this vlog.
Week's reading is not going to plan. It's really disappointing to me.
The week of reading didn't really go the way I intended. Happy Monday and welcome back to another weekly reading vlog. This week I'm hoping to read 4 books, and that is because if you haven't seen my February TBR video, you know how chaotic the wheel and the prompts were to me. So I have a lot of reading I want to get done in February. It's currently Monday the 3rd of February. I'm feeling motivated, I'm feeling excited about my TBR, and I'm really hoping this week I can smash out at least half of the books on my February TBR to give me a little bit more wiggle room across the rest of the month. So we're going to start off strong and we're going to read 4 books in this vlog. I'm saying 4. I'm really hoping it's 4. Let's just see what the week has in store, because at the minute I start off every Monday so motivated, so optimistic, and then Wednesday hits and I am done with the week. So we shall see. But I am currently in the middle of 2 books, both of my favourite TBR. The first book I'm in the middle of is Bookshops Bonedust by Baldree, which is the prequel to Legends and Lattes, which I read last year and absolutely loved, giving it a 5-star. So I was really intrigued to go into the prequel. I was actually a little hesitant because I loved Legends and Lattes so much and I didn't really know what to expect from Bookshops and Bonedust. But this is giving the same community feel, same cozy vibes. I'm not loving the characters or the side characters, I say, as much as Legends and Lattes, but I'm still getting that kind of like overall community feel, overall cozy vibe that I was looking for and received in Legends and Lattes. So I'm just really enjoying just like how cozy it is. I got up early this morning, put my dressing gown on, sat by the radiator and just read this book and had a really, really nice kind of like comforting time. And I'm currently 106 pages into this book out of 338. 104 pages into this book, so pretty much potato. And I'm really enjoying it. I'm hoping it's going to be about 4.5 star read. And then also I started an audiobook when I was doing some house chores before starting work this morning, and I started The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams, which thanks to Emily/Chloe picked out that book for me to read on my February TBR. So that's a book I've also started and I'm listening to that one as an audiobook on Everand. I have the rule book physically on my physical TBR, but one of my goals in 2025 is to not buy books just for the sake of buying books. If I can source them elsewhere, I will. And The Cheat Sheet was an audiobook on Everand. I pay monthly for Everand anyway, so I definitely should be using it more often. So I'm decided to listen to that book on Everand. And I'm enjoying it so far. I only started it this morning and I'm about 5 chapters in. It's told in dual perspective. It basically follows 2 main characters, Bree, and Bree's the girl. I can't remember the dude's name off the top of my head. No, it's blanked me. But you're following both of their perspectives. This book is going to be filled with miscommunication from the get-go. And Bree is a ballerina and the male love interest is a NFL football player, and they've been best friends since high school when they met on the running track, when they were both kind of like going after their dreams of Bree becoming a ballet dancer and the dude wanting to be an NFL star. So they both got up early to do cardio and ran the track at school, and they became best friends, became really inseparable. And then unfortunately Brie had an accident, so she could no longer pursue her dream of being a ballerina, and unfortunately the male interest, why is the name blanking me, ended up becoming an NFL star. They kind of like lost ways, they separated for a while, and then they came back when they both moved to LA and they're best friends again. And Brie has been pining over, enter name here, for as long as she can remember, and enter name here has been pining over Bree for as long as he can remember, but both of them think they're in the friend zone and both of them have already expressed their love for each other in their internal monologues every time you're in their own personal point of view, and neither of them have expressed their love so far. So this is one of Sarah Adams' earlier works. I don't think it's going to be as strong as When in Rome or Practice Makes Perfect, but I'm still willing to give it a go. It is cute, it's fluffy, it's easy to listen to, so I'm not complaining too much about it so far. But I just feel like if miscommunication really gripes at you, this might not be the book for you. I'm here for the enjoyment of it. I'm going to see where it goes. I don't really know what the plot is. I'm assuming it's going to be best friends to lovers with a lot of miscommunication thrown in the mix. So we'll see about that. But those are the 2 books I'm currently reading, and I'll keep you posted on what I managed to read today. I'm hoping I can read at least 100 pages every single day this week to get through the 4 books I do want to read. The other books I want to read are Out of the Woods by Hannah Bonam-Young, because that was on my January TBR that I didn't manage to get to, as well as The Baby Dragon Cafe. The author has blanked me, but that book has just come out. I've been seeing it everywhere. And then who do I follow on Instagram that does the monthly Kindle deals? And she does loads of pictures and graphics of all the books that are currently on 99p on Kindle. And I saw that Baby Dragon Cafe was on Kindle deals for 99p, and I wanted another cozy fantasy after really enjoying obviously Legends and Lattes and now reading and enjoying Bookshops and Bonedust. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to get it. And I'm really hoping, although it's not on my TBR this week, I'm really hoping I can get it read this week as just like a little mood read thing, because I really enjoyed mood reading in January and I hope I can keep it up a little bit in February. So those are my reading plans. I will let you go. Happy Monday and I'll keep posted.
It is now Wednesday evening and this week's reading is not going to plan, so let me give you a little bit of an update. I want to say, about halfway through the audiobook of The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams. I think I've got about 3 hours left of it, listening it on to 1.5 times speed, and I'm actually really enjoying it, potentially more so than Beg, Borrow or Steal. It's about two best friends who both are pining over each other. It's told in dual perspective, so you get both sides of the story and they're both pining for each other, but they don't want to ruin their friendship, so they don't tell each other how they really feel. I've got 2 hours and 55 minutes left of it, and I'm really enjoying their banter, and I didn't realise there was fake dating in this book as well. So like, I'm just having a fun time with this book. Yes, I can definitely tell that it was written prior to the When in Rome series by Sarah Adams. I definitely feel like she's better at the kind of like bulking out of the plot and the side characters now in her latest series, because A Cheat Sheet doesn't really have many kind of like well-developed side characters and the plot is very much just the romance. But I'm having a fun time with it. I'm laughing out loud when I'm listening to it sometimes, and it's just fun and easy to listen to. So hopefully I'll definitely get that one finished by the end of the week, which is a tick off my February TBR. Yay for me. And the other books, I really thought I was going to be finished by now. I'm still in the middle of Bookshops and Bonedust by Travis Baldree. I'm 70% on the way through. I'm really hoping I can finish it tonight. It's only just gone 8 o'clock, so I've got about 2 hours left of potential uninterrupted reading time. So I'm really hoping I can get this book done tonight, but I'm not enjoying it as much as Legends and Lattes. So Bookshops and Bonedust, if you didn't know, is the prequel to Legends and Lattes. So you're following the same character, but you're following her kind of like origin story. Legends and Lattes follows her as she finally finds a town where she feels like she belongs, and she opens a coffee shop.
Hello, guys.
Follows Viv as she opens a coffee shop, and then Bookshops and Bonedust follows Viv prior to that time, and she's had to take respite in a different village because she's injured herself fighting alongside her little like companion set of characters, and she meets friends and stuff in this new town. But I don't like the side characters as much, and I don't like the plot as much, so I'm really just not like vibing with it as much, and I find like it's actually really dragging. There's some sort of mystery involved. There's this like hooded, like cloaked figure that she's trying to figure out if he has a connection to the villain that they were kind of like fighting against and after, before she got injured. And yeah, just not loving the characters as much, so therefore I feel like I'm not feeling as invested in the story as I was with Legends and Latte, which is really sad. But that's kind of where I'm up to. Really hoping I can finish it today. I'm on page 245 out of like 330, so there's potential for me to finish today. Fingers crossed. Long time no see. I've been awful updating this vlog this week. It is now Sunday morning, and that's because reading has just fallen off the bandwagon this week. I have no idea why, but I just haven't really been in the mood to read. I think because I wasn't really enjoying Bookshops and Bonedust, which I have finished, giving it a 3-star. It's really disappointing to me because I loved Legend and Latte so much, I gave that one a 5-star. So to go down to a 3-star was so disappointing. I just didn't really care about the adventure that Viv was going on in terms of like the mystery that was in the town that she'd settled in to recover. So if you didn't know, this book basically follows Viv as she's on an adventure with her little gang trying to kill this villain, and she ends up getting injured. So she has to take some respite in the local town while the rest of her team go off and finish off their quest. And she takes respite in this town as she becomes friends with a bookshop owner, and she kind of helps this bookshop kind of revitalise itself, as it's kind of like not really very popular anymore. No one really comes into it, so she helps the bookshop owner out in kind of like revitalising this bookshop. And that bit I really enjoyed, and she makes really good friends, and a romance blooms up with a bakery owner as well. So that bit that I really enjoyed, which definitely gave me the same sort of cozy vibes and like community feel as Legend and Lattes, like the bookshop and the bakery just kind of like all gave me that like warm fuzzy feeling.
but the quest, which kind of made a prominent part of the plot, which I'm not hating on, it just personally wasn't my personal preference of favourite things in a book. I didn't really tend to enjoy. I wasn't that intrigued about the mystery that was kind of like going on, and I didn't really care about the side quest that she was trying to like figure out whilst living and kind of like recovering in this quaint little town. So not my favourite, unfortunately. The lowest rated book I think I've given so far this year, which is a 3-star, which is really sad, but that was the first book I finished this week, and the second one, which I've just finished now, is my audiobook of The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams. And once again, Sarah Adams has pulled out the bag. I wasn't not going to like this book. It's Sarah Adams. I love her writing style. I love her romances. And the book had fake dating in it. So like, what's not to like when it comes to Sarah Adams and fake dating for me personally? Nothing. I really enjoyed this book. I gave it a 4-star, just finishing off this morning as an audiobook. And I really enjoyed it. This one basically follows our two main characters, Nathan and Bree, and they've been best friends since high school. And they are so close as best friends that they don't realise each other are pining over each other for more in their relationship. They both really like each other, but they don't want to tell each other because they don't want to lose out on that kind of like friendship that they've kind of really built over these years of being friends. So neither of them tell each other that they like each other, and this, I thought the miscommunication, and because it's told in dual perspective, the pining over each other in each other's chapters was going to get really annoying. But it actually just made me love the relationship more when it came to the fake dating relationship. And the fake dating kind of happens because Bree unfortunately says something to a reporter when she's drunk one night, and the only way to kind of like get over this and kind of like help Nathan's image kind of come back to normal after this like PR stunt that's kind of like gone wrong is to kind of like fake date and make the public believe that they are actually in a relationship. For this, Nathan thinks this is the perfect way to test the waters out and see if Bree is really into him more than she's letting on, and then obviously the fake dating kind of like blossoms their relationship from there. And it's a really cute book. I love Nathan and Bree as a duo. I love them individually. Bree is a ballet dancer, Nathan is an NFL player, so it's that kind of like sports romance, and I love them together. I love them individually. You can kind of tell that Sarah Adams kind of like beginning works because the side characters weren't as flushed out as kind of, would you say, in the When in Rome series, where you really get like a community feel in terms of the side characters and the town. It really is definitely heavily focused on the romance. I'm not complaining. I was squealing, I was laughing, I absolutely adored it. I definitely think the dual POV kind of helped out this book because you got each other's side of the story in terms of why they were pining over each other, and overall I just had a really fun time reading it. I actually didn't think I was going to enjoy it as much as I did, so I'm very happy that I gave that one a 4-star. So that's kind of like all my reading updates. I'm hoping today to finish Out of the Wood by Hannah Bonam-Young. I am only 60 pages into it though, because I'm really struggling to read this and it's really making me upset. I absolutely loved Out on a Limb, which is the first book in this kind of like duology. I gave that one a 5-star, and I'm really hoping it's not the same trajectory as Legends and Lattes, where the first one was 5 stars and the second one just wasn't really my vibe. This one follows Caleb and Sarah, which are Wynn's best friends from the first book, and they are really struggling to... I've kind of got to a crossroads in their relationship. They've been together since high school again, and they've come to a crossroads where maybe it's time to like rejudge things in their relationship and kind of give it another go, start therapy, etc. And Wynn recommends this kind of like camping couples retreat to reconnect, and I've just got to the part of the book where they've agreed to go on this camping retreat to reconnect and rekindle kind of what they once had before completely giving up on their relationship. So I think it's a second chance romance between a high school kind of sweetheart relationship, and that's not what I was expecting this book to be. But now we've got to this camping retreat, I think I'm going to enjoy this book a little bit better. So I have no plans today. Mark very kindly did all the chores for me on Friday when I was at work, so there's nothing to do in this house right now apart from curl up on the sofa, read this book, and continue the Disney puzzle with Mark, because Mark is currently doing a Disney puzzle, so I'm going to flip between reading and doing a Disney puzzle all day and just have a nice chilled Sunday because the weather is grim outside, so it's a perfect day to curl up with a book and hopefully get this one finished. I really need to get this book finished today because I'm starting another reading vlog tomorrow, which is reading romances for a week because it's Valentine's Day next week, so I'm going to read all romances next week and just kind of like take you along on being all cute and fluffy with romances next week. So I need to get this book finished today. It's not the end of the world if this one gets carried over because it is a romance, but I'd like to start a clean vlog with a fresh slate in terms of the books I'm currently reading. So that's the plan. I'll keep you updated, hopefully, fingers crossed, because I've been awful at doing that this week. But yes, happy Sunday. did I manage to finish Out of the Woods by Hannah Bonam-Young yesterday? No, but was I being very, very ambitious? Yes, I had 270 pages left to read of it. I was 20% of the way through when I was like, I'm going to try and finish this book today. So like there was a very small chance I was going to actually finish it yesterday. I didn't, but I did manage to get to like 80% of the way through, and I read like 170 pages. So I read the final 100 pages this morning before starting work, and I've given it a 4-star. I was apprehensive going into this book because the start for me was so slow. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like this book at all. But then, as predicted, as soon as the couple, Sarah and Caleb, got onto their kind of like rediscovery, rekindling outdoor retreat, I really enjoyed it. I loved the banter between the two main characters. I loved all their new friends that they kind of met along the way. And I really enjoyed the underlying message of this book, which was basically about grief. Sarah, at a very, very young age, lost her mother, and you do flash back to that time. So there's a lot of grief in this book. If that's a trigger warning for you or something that you cannot read at this time, I personally probably wouldn't recommend this book because it touches upon that topic so heavily and very prominently and consistently throughout this book. You have the past timeline where Sarah is still with her mother and she's kind of like wanting to drop out of school to take care of her mother as she is suffering with ASL and is going to slowly pass away from it. And then in the present timeline, she is still dealing with that grief 10, 15, 20 years later because that grief never really leaves you. So that's a big topic of conversation in the present timelines as well. So if that's something you can't deal with, then I would say to avoid this book just purely because of how heavily the book kind of references the grief and death of a parent, etc, etc. But overall, I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was funny. Once the story got going and the couple, Sarah and Caleb, were in this outdoor retreat, it was really, really funny. I really enjoyed the banter. Hannah Bonam-Young's banter from Out of a Limb came back through in the middle section of this book, and the ending was just really beautiful. Did I think the ending was a little bit rushed? Yes, there's an epilogue for 10 years later, which I think was a little bit far-fetched. It makes sense in the context of the book because one of the kind of like activities that the retreat gets Sarah and Caleb to do is to write a list of things they want to have achieved together and independently 10 years from now. So I understand where the 10-year later epilogue came from. But for me, it felt really rushed, and it also kind of felt like an epilogue for Win and Bo as well, which I don't think we really needed. So I really enjoyed it, but it didn't give me the same sort of like 5-star feeling as Out on a Limb. But very, very glad I read it. Glad that I ended up really enjoying it compared to kind of like my beginning apprehensiveness about it. So yeah, another book done. I say for this vlog, definitely not for the week. The week of reading didn't really go the way I intended. I wanted to try and read 4 books and we managed to read 3, I believe. We read Out of the Woods by Hannah Bonam-Young, which wasn't on my February TBR, but was a carryover from January. We read The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams, which was on my February TBR, which my book besties picked for me to start a series. So I started that one and ended up really enjoying it. And I cannot wait to jump into the rule book now. And the other book I read this week was... What was the other book I read this week? You guys will know because you've just watched the rest of the vlog, but... For me, being Monday morning, I cannot remember what I read at the beginning of this week. Bookshops Bonedust. That's how unmemorable it was. Maybe it doesn't deserve a 3-star. Eek. So yeah, I read that one and continued the series as well. So we got off to February, quite a slow start. I have only completed 3 books so far off in February, and only 2 of them have been off my February TBR. So the whole kind of like kickstarting my February TBR reading going well in this vlog didn't really go as well as kind of predicted. But I'm vlogging again this week because it is Valentine's Day. I'm going to read all romances, and I've last minute decided to take part in the Literature Book Club readathon, which is hosted by Steph Love. So I'll leave her channel link down below if you're interested in checking her out. But yeah, overall, not a good week, but still had some really highly rated reads. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a massive thumbs up and subscribe down below to see future content from me. I don't think from weekly reading vlogs, monthly TBRs, monthly wrap-ups, and any other book content you can think of. I usually have on my channel, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any. And I'll see you in my next video.